What's up, everybody? I'm still adjusting to being back in the United States. It's gonna take time. I sleep and I wake up in the middle of the night thinking it's probably the next day, but it is the next day. It's after midnight, but it's still nighttime. So, but my body will gradually transition over. But I'm coming to you to talk about good and evil, good and bad, right and wrong, left and right, up and down. In our lives, we have to have polarity or opposites. And that's for several reasons. But for our growth as human beings, we have to have both sides so that we can achieve a balance. So that means basically that we have to learn what we consider bad and we have to learn what we consider good. Okay? But I've learned, especially in this lifetime and maybe in prior ones, not to look at occurrences or events as either good or bad, or good or evil, because I don't know what they will lead to. For example, say someone is in a car accident, but they're okay, but that car accident causes them to not make it to the airport to catch the plane that actually crashed in the ocean. So you can look at them having the auto accident as bad, but then if they had made it to that plane that crashed into the ocean and there were no survivors, that would have been bad too, and even worse. So the issue is that you don't we don't know the future. We can't see the future. In many ways, it is truly unpredictable. So that's why I do not judge occurrences as right or wrong, good or bad or evil. Another reason is because each of us start off in kindergarten as human beings. It means we don't know jack shit. Just like a baby born don't know jack shit. Well, as human beings, we start off not knowing jack shit either. So, the people that are called psychopaths, well, those are like new human beings. God just newly created spirits who come to earth as human beings, okay? So they don't know jack shit. They don't have any ounce of love in them because love is developed through experience. So we have these psychopaths, a few of them on our earth, who are new spirits. They do a lot of unloving things. They don't have loving feelings, okay? And then we call that evil, the things that they do. Some can go and, take out a lot of lives. Yes, that is evil in our eyes. Loss of life, especially innocent people. Okay, that's just from the human point of view. But from the spiritual point of view, that person doesn't have an ounce of love in them. So how can we expect them to avoid doing that? You understand? And each of us, like I said, started out in kindergarten. Each of us started out as psychopaths. We lived several lifetimes. Take you didn't know it. So we've been there. But there is a God, and the people who are actually harmed from that psychopathic activity. They are not just random human beings. No, they, you know, have a lesson to learn too. This is not some random selection. No, everything is in order. I don't want to go too deep into that because my main point in coming on now is just to say that I learned through experience from the incidents that I experienced that it is not wise to judge something as good or bad or right or wrong because we don't know how that thing impacts the future. Okay, I'll give. I'll say this: Trayvon Martin. Many of you heard of him, and I'll do a video on him because I did deep research on him. But it hurt me that his life was taken. It hurt me deeply. And yes, I was like, what did it hurt me? I was like, yeah, that was wrong for that man to murder him. Yeah. But again, you cannot judge anything right or wrong or good or bad from a spiritual perspective. From a human perspective, yes. But from a spiritual perspective, no. Because the only thing that matters spiritually is whatever happens, however you see it, how do you allow it to impact how you now think? And most importantly, how do you allow it to impact and affect how you choose to love moving forward? How you choose to love yourself and how you choose to love others. That's the most important thing. Whatever happens, however you see it, right, wrong, indifferent, good, evil, whatever, how do you allow what you have experienced to affect the level of love that you choose to display in your life towards yourself and towards others? This is the most important thing. Love. If you allow it to cause you to love less, then you hurt yourself and you hurt others. If you allow it to cause you to grow in your expression of love towards yourself and others, then that's more beautiful. That's more peace. That's more joy, care, and concern spread. And that's only positive. And we move closer to peace. So, sometimes I get conflicted, sometimes I'm at odds because I recognize, I know that we must have both sides of it. We must have what's considered good and we must have what's considered bad. We must have what we consider good, what we consider evil. We must have what we consider right and what we consider wrong. All of them must occur because we each here are here to learn spiritual lessons and to be tested for our growth. And in order for that to occur, we must experience what we consider positive and negative. But from a spiritual perspective, they are neither. All that matters spiritually is what do you do with what you have experienced? Does it cause you to grow in love? Does it cause you to grow in hate? One thing I know for certain, there is a God, and this God is a great God, a loving God, a kind and caring God, and has set an order to our existence. And I trust infinitely. So whatever happens to you and whatever you do your best to choose to do it out of love. What is love? The most basic, simplest definition I could think of is just being kind, just showing care, just basic kindness to yourself and to others. We need that so badly here on this earth. You need to show it to yourself. You need to show it to each other. This is what we are so lacking. And only you have control over you. And so you choose. But remember, each of us are at different stages and levels spiritual in our life. So we will exhibit different expressions or levels of love as shown through our actions and the words that we say and the thoughts that we have. We are each here growing. So no, everybody's not going to be nice all the time. You're going to have some people do some real evil, deranged things, and some people do some very loving things because everybody's at different places of growing. But remember, there's no death. Yes, this human body that you see here, Gina, will grow old and will pass away. But the life inside of it, the spirit, lives on forever. And I will return as I have before and live again. And yes, we live on other planets too in other life forms. So there's no finality. You know what I'm saying? For example, you may decide to give your life for something you believe in. Say you choose, like Martin Luther King, he stood up so that all people truly, but mainly African Americans, would be treated equally and with respect. So he put his life on the line because he knew that there are other people out there who wanted to continue to control us and hold us down. And he stood up and said no. So he put his life at risk because he knew what was out there. And yes, he lost his life. He was murdered, but he just lost his human life. Martin Luther King, the spirit behind the man, lives on. He may return to earth in another lifetime, or he may have served, completed all his lessons here, and may move on to somewhere else. Yes, there's the pain, there's the loss, there's the sadness, there's the hurt, there's the anger, because a life was taken away. Feel that. It's important to feel your feelings. But once you have finished or get to the longer process of feeling, always remind yourself that the true life, the spirit, never dies. So I view life differently. I'm looking at this movie now called Midway, where there was the attack on Pearl Harbor, you know. And I understand because we are evolving spirits in human bodies with varying degrees of love in us, that we are going to take actions that are loving and unloving. And it is necessary because it is a part of how we learn and how we grow. And if the pain wasn't real and if the loss wasn't real, then the lesson wouldn't last and the lesson wouldn't stick. And the lesson wouldn't be as important. And we are so important. I hope I have explained myself clearly. I hope you understand me. If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer. But know I love you just from and with just the kindness towards you. I love you. Be kind to yourself. Bye.